We'll begin with the roll call this time, actually. Madam Secretary, if you would.
Yeah, of course. All right. Dylan, obviously here. Carolyn, she's here too.
Here.
Kirsten, you're here. Will that work? I'm here. Adele?
Here.
Aquay? Aziza?
I'm here.
Brendan? Christine? Christine? I know she's here, so I'll just mark her in. Maybe something's wrong with her internet. David?
Here.
Yvette?
Here.
Jordan?
Here.
Kate? Miriam?
Here.
Mira?
Here.
Naveen?
Here.
Robert?
Here.
Socket? Sateva? Sebastian?
Here.
Sweta?
Here.
Tanvi?
Here.
Tonanzit?
Here.
Zara?
Here.
Brianna?
Here.
Camila?
Here.
Ricky?
Here.
Sarah?
Here.
And Ricky. Okay, if I missed anyone, you can just type it in the chat and I'll mark you in.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Secretary. The second item would be the approval of minutes, so that was sent out with the email. This would just be from our last general body meeting, March 22nd, 2021. If there's no objection, we will be approving the minutes from the last general body meeting. Okay, hearing no objection, the minutes from last meeting have been approved. So moving forward into executive board reports, there is a good amount going on as we're finishing up this semester. So Legacy Drive, our president's working on some signatures. Hopefully we'll be able to get PDFs, have that look nice and pretty. We are, of course, having the media committee working on the website. So thank you very much to everyone involved in that. Very excited. For the emergency fund and other aid, of course, it's still the same form. I believe it was mentioned during our by one of our senators during our Instagram live session last time about the possibility of further federal funding. That will probably take a little while just for that to come in from the Biden administration and then for Rutgers to process that. So, if you need any assistance with any of that, please do use the form. Please reach out to the care team. Giving Day and Scarlet Seniors, Mr. President, would you want to tackle this?
Sorry, my computer lagged a little bit there. So, the two separate let's start a while ago, encouraging graduating seniors to donate to an area of campus that they're passionate about. So I thank everyone who did that. If they gave a certain amount, you'd receive like the philanthropy graduation stole. And then most recently, we've had Giving Day, which saw thousands of dollars come in from students to underfunded departments or areas that they're also passionate about. So I think that was really great.
All right, thank you. So for the Chancellor's office meeting, we started off talking about the Zoom bombings and Dr. Trotsky. Obviously, the Chancellor's office is very concerned. They did send out the email concerning it. Unfortunately, we still have not heard anything regarding the investigation just yet. And yes, thank you to Sarah's Giving Day video for the Political Science Department at Newark. But returning to the Chancellor's office meeting, unfortunately, there's no results from the investigation yet. So that's why a lot of the efforts are just focused on, how to protect these Zoom meetings and the trainings involved. We haven't received any further questions, but if there are concerns, please do let us know. We can set something up with actual IT department staff if there are further questions or meetings for that. For Dr. Trotsky, they talked about a little bit, just within the context of outside actors being involved last year, I believe, when this concern was raised. And this year, even though the petition letter was signed concerned Hindu students of New Brunswick and Newark, the Newark being added later onto the petition letter, of course. There are no students who have come forth or identified themselves. There's just that one Instagram and email accounts. I know that the president has been meeting with student organizations on campus who have not supported that petition. So these are just all ongoing conversations, but they did want to bring up the fact that, when it's a question of research, right, and academic integrity, Rutgers wants to make sure that professors are able to express themselves, right, especially professors doing work on controversial issues. So, those will be just continuing conversations. Mr. President, graduation and regalia, did you want to talk about the email?
Yeah, sure. So, of course, this has been a situation that's been developing constantly. I mean, there's development today. I haven't, just right at this meeting started. So I'm going to put the link in the chat to the most recent update I had put out following the Chancellor's meeting, letting people know what to expect, that everyone will not receive a subsidy, but in light of that, there is money aside with the care team. So I just encourage you to read that. And the most recent development is that Student Affairs is requesting that we do not promote the care team to students, which, I did at first because there was no messaging that went out, and, time's moving and people are buying their stuff, but they're going to be sending out messaging to all those who are eligible, via email, basically cross-checking financial need and different things like that. So, I hope to hear back how many students received that message. But otherwise, everything's looking good. The student group that's working on it, that is meeting with those involved in planning this. They're putting out different ideas. I think there's a lot of sweet stuff that we got that I'm actually unaware of New Brunswick or Camden even having at this point. I think we're actually doing far better than the other campuses in terms of commencement, Brad.
Dylan, if I can interject, I was actually part of that conversation this morning. So at this point, based on everyone from August until May, there are around 1,400 students who have been identified. And they will; those are the students who the outreach email will go out to. But yeah, I saw your email response. You will get a copy of that email once it goes out. Right now, we are trying to figure out the Qualtrics form to go with it. But yeah, that is in development. We're meeting again today at 4:00.
Thank you so much. All right, that's great to hear. Is there anything else for where are we? I'm so sorry. For Giving Day, regalia, graduation.
Permission to speak?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Vice President.
Hi, everyone. So yes, we did meet with the graduation committee last week to discuss the events that will be happening prior to graduation. Luckily, all of our suggestions were heard, and we will be having a few fun events. So just to talk about them briefly, we're going to have a kind of like a photo booth with a mini graduation stage for you to take pictures with. You can have up to 2 friends or family members with you to take photos and celebrate yourselves. We will also be having a paint and sip event, which I think is super fun. It's going to be like tables underneath a tent, and a few people will be on the table following the social distancing procedures. And they're going to be offering mocktails, and supplies obviously will be provided as well. And then we will also have a decorate cap or a shirt event, and also all the equipment and everything you need to decorate your cap will be provided. And then lastly, we're also going to have a drive-in movie theater, which is super, super fun. And it's going to be like last summer, I think it was, the city of Newark had like a few drive-in movie theaters. So it's going to be downtown Newark in that same spot. And then regarding the movie, email should go out soon so we can like vote on the movie that we want to see. It's going to be like something very recent, so it'll be fun. And then for all of the events that I mentioned, hopefully an email should go out soon for students to sign up for, because it is first come, first serve considered. We need to follow social distancing procedures. So once it does come out, sign up immediately, and we will hopefully share it on our social media as well. And then one last thing, we did discuss having gift bags for our graduating seniors. At the moment, we are still trying to figure out what we want to include, but it's going to be something like, a stainless steel cup, Rutgers cup, a pin, car magnets, a bag, luggage tags, things most people can use. And we are seeing if we can include customized t-shirts for our graduating seniors as well. We just need to figure out, the sizing and everything and how that's going to work. But yeah, fun stuff.
Thank you, Vice President. I actually had a quick question for Dean Panda, if possible. So the 1,400 students, are they receiving like completely free regalia, or is it just like discounted?
Yeah, at this point, it was mentioned that it's going to be discounted 75%. So we just want to make sure that people are not, I feel like it will be easier if there is a lower. There was a conversation about 50%, and then everybody settled at 75%. So let's say the regalia costs $100, they would have to pay. I know it's 110 or something. They would have to pay 25% of that cost. Right now, as it stands, again, I don't have that's the latest update. But again, let's not. I want to make sure that we have the most accurate information before we publish that.
Yeah, of course. Dylan?
Yeah, I just have two questions. So first, obviously we're not going to be sending people to the care team anymore. But can we still promote and say, hey, if you're eligible, you receive this email, be on the lookout for it. And then my second question is, everyone who received the email is automatically eligible as long as they follow through for that discount?
Yeah, I think they would have to pick up their regalia from the bookstore. We are still trying to, again, there are lots of things that are up in the air right now in terms of just making sure, if you're having 1,000 students come to the bookstore, how do we want to make the arrangements for it? So logistically, I think there are a few things we need to figure out. In regards to your previous question, Dylan, I can ask in our meeting again if it's okay for you all to also resend that message. I just don't want to cause, panic with that, I'm not receiving an email, what's happening? And again, I think it goes back to the information that we receive from financial aid. That's how the students are being identified. It's based on the highest need band in financial aid based on FAFSA records. So there are, again, there will be additional information shared, but if you can give me some time, we'll definitely get back to you with an answer in regards to a follow-up message once that first email.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
The plan is to send out that email hopefully by tomorrow with the form.
Okay, thank you. So for short term, we'll just tell people to not email the care team about that. They'll be receiving communications. So yeah, thank you so much, Dean Bandit.
I have one more question. So it's going out. It's great that it's going out to the 1,400 cross-check students and that they would all automatically be eligible if they follow through with it. What if, I don't know how many may have already, some of these students may have already purchased their regalia. Now, can they show a receipt because they're eligible and then get reimbursed?
So that is something that's also being investigated in terms of how would that work logistically? Like, how do they go about doing that? That is something that we haven't figured out yet. That was something that I did pose to the group as a question. So again, I will definitely note that and get back to you on that, Dylan.
Okay, I would just strongly encourage to.
No. That was something we definitely thought about. I just don't know what was decided with that. I can definitely follow up on that.
Because I would think in a case like, in other cases, if someone was able to buy something, it would kind of prove like that they, were fine anyway. But in this case, I think for something that's so momentous, I think some people are willing to sacrifice their bills even for regalia. So I do encourage you to kind of figure that out in some way.
Yeah. No, I think that email that goes out should include some information if you already purchased your regalia and what are the steps you can take for that. Noted. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So hopefully that messaging will go out tomorrow. For short term, please do reserve the care team if you're in need of a support plan. So also during Chancellor's meeting, we discussed finances briefly. So we should be receiving communication from Senior Vice Chancellor Amber Randolph this week about what student fees and the percentages are actually used for, which is very exciting since we've been waiting for this information for years, and the data is there. They're just compiling all of it right now. So as soon as we know that, we'll inform the Senate as well as the rest of the student body, because one sentence explanation is a little bit bare. So looking forward to that and collaborating with Camden and New Brunswick on generating a comprehensive report about Rutgers finances overall. Next, we have the RBS prayer space and cameras. So Senior Vice Chancellor Randolph also mentioned that she would try and clear up some of the logistical barriers regarding the prayer space. I know there was some confusion over the plans and some pushback over the size requirements of the space. But hopefully, with the support of the Chancellor's team, we can push forward and at least have some solid plans and, something, in the works by fall at the very latest. As for the cameras, the provost and senior, I'm getting confused with the titles, but Provost Manga and Vice Chancellor Gunkel, I believe, did clarify that professors under no circumstance are allowed to have cameras turned on as part of the grade. They cannot require that. Please do tell all of your students, all of your representatives that this is an overall Rutgers policy, but I know it's been particularly problematic with the business school. So we've been trying to get some meeting dates set up. So hopefully that'll be occurring this week as well. Is there anything else from the Chancellor's office meeting that I missed, E-Board?
Yeah, I guess just to reiterate, we were just requesting that explicit support on some projects and some more clarity on things, more explicit language with students.
All right. Thank you very much, President. Our RBS Senator Socket put in the chat, don't let them indirectly threaten you with it, right? If you feel like there is something going on or something fishy, please do contact your academic dean. Please do contact the association, right? We're here to represent and advocate for students, and we want to make sure that everyone's on the same page. Okay, so the next item is the resources, if there's no further updates from the Chancellor's office meeting. So Dr. Anise Thomas, obviously, is the Director of Health and Wellness. I know various members of our association have had meetings with her. There's the counseling center. You just call the line to schedule an appointment. They have virtual as well as drop-in hours on Mondays. And today at 4 o'clock, there is Mindful Mondays. So if anyone is interested in that, I can definitely share the link as well. I personally found them very helpful just to try and take that time to, not or just to be mindful of the space that I'm in and not freak out about the state of the pandemic or any other responsibilities. So I found that very helpful. I encourage you guys to try it. It's open to students, faculty, staff, anyone anyone with a link, really. There's the WeChat Student Text Helpline, which is run by student volunteers if you want to just talk about your concerns. Sanvello is a service that Rutgers has purchased for students. It's sort of a self-help type thing. If you don't want to go to a counseling center, but you still want some more resources, that's a great place to start. And finally, there's the Student Health Center. You can just call the number, schedule a virtual appointment. I've done that. I've called the 24-hour nurse hotline. Both of them work really well. They're fantastic. So yes. Next is a hunger-free campus. So it's a little unfortunate. I know Dean Williams has her work schedule shifted slightly and she's been out of the office. But Dr. Anise Thomas, the Director of Health and Wellness, is called the task force back together again since the grant is active. So New Jersey will give state funding to schools which classify as hunger-free campuses. And there are basically certain requirements we have to fulfill and prove in order to get a grant of $40,000 to $100,000. So we're really trying to apply for that and get that. We already have a lot of the requirements. We have the task force, we're meeting right now and we're trying to set that up. NJ Perk, thank you to Caitlin, and Sally isn't here, but Sally's the head of the Hunger and Homelessness campaign. Okay, we'll get back to that. Sally's the head of the Hunger and Homelessness campaign. They held Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week this November, which is also part of the requirements. We have a campus food pantry, obviously the pantry run, which is still open to all students. They have they're working on virtual ordering right now as well. So we have a lot of the requirements. We're just trying to put the grant application together by April 5th. So it's a very tight deadline. Submit it for the New Jersey state deadline of the 12th. So Rutgers, all three campuses, I believe, are actually applying for this. So we're submitting it to the Chancellor's office and the president will submit the final application to the state government. Talking about some events, there's an NJ Perk panel that just happened, which was really great. I had the chance to speak. Anwar from the CARE team also spoke as well. And it was just a really great, informative experience. So we're very happy about that. EDW, Decisions and Consequences meeting. I'm not exactly sure what that means. I don't see anything like that in the agenda, but if they do clarify, let us know, and we'll have it brought up during the hearings.
If they are referring to the link, Harrison, I'm about to post the flyer in the chat.
Oh, ethical development workshop.
Happening right now, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm also getting an email about it. So I'll post the flyer in the chat and also respond to the student.
Thank you so much. Yes, ethical development workshop, that is a requirement if you are participating this election season. You do need to attend. Unfortunately, I know we have a co-chair of the elections committee here, but maybe they can update a bit more during the committee reports. But yes, there are multiple workshops, I believe. Yeah, Senator Warner.
I heard some students couldn't even get in the current meeting that's happening right now. I was in it. I went Friday, so already attended, but I don't know what's happening. But I was a couple students saying they're having a hard time getting in.
Okay.
I've been in contact with Dean Williams, but Dean Pandit, if you know anything about why they're not getting in, please let me know, because again, the candidates have also been reaching out to me as well.
I'm going to call Alicia, who's facilitating the workshop, to find out. I'll get back to you. 2 seconds.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. So yes, Alicia is from Office of Community Standards, who runs these workshops. These ethical workshops are required for candidates who are participating in the election season. And yeah, hopefully we can get those scheduling issues cleared up. President, if you'd like to talk about the email that Holloway sent out.
Yeah. All right. So, there's a lot going on at Rutgers, just a lot. And, I'm sure all of you have seen the recent vaccine mandate. So there's a lot going around, not just the state, but the country too, because it's Rutgers is, I think, the first major institution to do something like this, in higher education. I think more universities will follow suit. I personally think it's a good thing. I was in the meeting about it before it was announced with Tony Calcato. He's one of the vice presidents under Holloway. He's kind of been like, running the logistics of all this. So I think it's a good thing, honestly, because we want to have a safer learning community, and we just want to get back. We want to go back in person, not wait around. Like, what are we waiting for, So I think this is one way that Rutgers is following through on its claim of being revolutionary by being bold in this aspect. And there are ways to be exempt for those who have concerns. New Jersey requires various medical and religious exemptions. If you continue to take online-only classes, you don't have to do it either. Beyond that, Rutgers is a choice as well. And there are many other schools that prospective students could attend if this is a major problem with them or conflicts with their values. So my inbox is always open on any questions about this. The infrastructure is not set for those exemptions yet, but of course they will be in the coming time, because we have months before this really matters. Just some context on the decision-making process. This is not something they could have done 3 weeks ago, which is why I was surprised when we were talking about it, because maybe 3.5, 4 weeks ago now, this just was not going to happen. But now with developments in the Biden administration, they feel confident with the supply of vaccines, and that's why they're able to make this decision.
All right. I'll do our our chief of finance, my bad, first, and then Senator Warner.
About to say there's some disrespect calling me the treasurer. No, I'm just kidding. But one thing that I do just want to take a moment and note on while we do have the ability to speak to the student body at large, and that's that while obviously I'm not qualified to give anyone medical advice, just to touch on the basis of the definition of what the emergency use authorization is. I know there's a lot of students who are currently hesitant because the vaccines have not received a full approval from the FDA yet. But what I would just like to remind all students is that even though they have only received the emergency use authorization, that still requires for them to go through safety data and phase 1 and 2 of testing, which they would go through for the approval process, and that they are still currently going through the testing for phase 3. Pfizer in particular is up to get its approval in April. So hopefully we'll be able to see that happen and other vaccines follow suit. Again, well before this will actually come to fruition with the mandate with Rutgers.
All right. Thank you very much, Chief of Finance. I don't know if Senator Warner wants to comment.
Yeah, is there any way that we can ensure Rutgers students availability to get the vaccine? I don't know, to make sure everyone.
Yeah, so to my understanding, maybe Dean Pandit is much better informed on this than I am, but to my understanding, Rutgers is certified to administer the vaccine as per the email that President Holloway sent out. It's just right now supply is still limited. So I don't know if right now, Rutgers is capable of vaccinating every single student, but hopefully by May, with the current federal and state timelines, hopefully by May or at the very latest by September, every student will have the opportunity to get vaccinated.
That sounds about right, Harrison. I don't have additional information. I think what you said sounds accurate. There should be more information that is emailed out. I feel like because so many people have questions about that previous email, so I feel like more information is to come. But I don't have additional information. Sorry. No
worries. Thank you so much, Dean Panda. I know, everything is moving very fast. From the Biden administration, NJ government, there's just a lot of moving pieces. Unfortunately, as Rutgers Newark, we are part of the greater institution of Rutgers, which means that sometimes it all has to come from the president's office, a lot of this information. So obviously, as a student government, we'll be reaching out to students and providing updates as soon as we hear them as well. We'll be putting the language from the Dean Panda just sent in our minutes. But basically, please just refer students who have any questions to the Rutgers immunization portal, and hopefully that infrastructure will be up and running by the time that people are actually thinking about coming back to school for the fall semester. And yes, there was some news yesterday. NJT campus is the largest vaccination center. And anyone who is currently able to register, if you meet the conditions for, I believe it's phase 1 still. But if you do meet those conditions, please do sign up and get an appointment. For faculty and staff, I believe there was mentioned that roughly 10 to 20% of faculty and staff have already been vaccinated. There is no mandate for them just yet because their positions are a little bit different from students and unionization and all of that. But the majority of faculty and staff, I believe, will be vaccinated as well. They just cannot mandate them like they can with students. Is there anything else on the vaccine from eBoard? Okay, moving on lines of communication, please check in with the speaker and I. Contact the Chief of Finance if you have a brilliant idea to use our large remaining amount of funds. We're really looking to try and use that up before it all rolls back. For further meetings, contact myself and the speaker. There's a soft deadline of Friday, and we'll be moving on to item D, committee reports. Are there any reports from the Internal Affairs Committee? Okay. Are there any reports from the Elections Committee?
Yes. So we have our information session this Wednesday during, not information session, I mean our candidate open forum during free period this Wednesday. The campaign week is still going on. It'll end at the end of the week on April 1st. So that's Thursday, and opening will be opened shortly in the beginning of next week. So stay tuned for that.
Thank you very much, Co-Chair. All right, so next item, are there any ad hoc committee reports?
Yeah, so the environmental committee, sorry, I've been a little MIA recently. My grandfather passed away, and it's kind of been pretty, like I've been trying to be there for family and my grandmother and everything whatsoever. So I've been a little MIA, but I'm trying to get back and settle in and everything. But basically, I'm going to be having another meeting happening on tomorrow for the environmental committee. We're going to be starting up. And I'm going to do some research today to figure out with some student initiatives and where to contact, where to get the ball rolling. So tomorrow it's going to be really important. So everyone, please attend. Even if you've never attended a meeting, just come try it out. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Warner. If you need any support, or if you need to take any time, take all the time you need. If there's anything myself or anyone else in the association can do, please do let us know. And we'll do our best to support you. Yeah, it's been a rough year, and this goes for everyone else. If there's any personal issues, any family issues that comes up, please address it. Don't worry about SGA. You're humans first, your students second, and SGA and everything else is third. So please keep that in mind. Yeah. Are there any other ad hoc committee reports?
Any permission to speak?
Recognized.
Hello everyone, Okoye Media Senator. So I just wanted to update everyone on the website. So thanks to Dean Patton, sorry. Thank you so much for providing us with the opportunity to work on this project. It's going on well, but as requested, everyone please share your information. I sent the link in the chat. So if you need that again, I could share that with you. And hopefully we're hoping to work with the elections committee to advertise. I don't necessarily want to say advertise, but share the candidates who are running for those elections. So we have more outreach for them. Besides that, I believe everything else is going on well. We also have a LinkedIn account for those who don't know. So if you want to connect with us there as well, you can do that. We're currently on IG Live, IGTV. IG Live right now. Thanks to my co-senator Sebastian. Thank you very much. I believe we are having more reach there, and also upcoming events are coming. I know some of the senators are working on some projects, but please, if you're working on anything and you need to publicize it or need help with small logistics, please be sure to reach out as soon as possible, because I know we're getting to a very very hectic time because we're late in the semester. So it's imperative that we get things done early. And also, I just wanted to speak briefly about, although this is not in the jurisdiction of the media committee, I just wanted to speak briefly about the transfer committee. So please share your thoughts on your position as a senator. We've done a great job like this year. I'm so grateful to be on this year's members of the SGA. So please, I'd like us to share our information, what you thought you did well, what you thought would be helpful for incoming members of the SGA, so they could be able to transition smoothly. And if there's any information you have in regards to what you struggle with, that's also something you could add. And you could feel free to reach out to David or myself or Harrison if he wants to do it again. But yeah, thank you for my time and yield my time.
Thank you very much, Sadar. Yeah, definitely special thanks to the media senators and everyone on the media committee. I know it's been a big stretch for everyone to adopt to this virtual setting, but no more than the media committee itself, right? We've definitely explored a lot of new ways to interact with social media, with the website, with everything else. So that's fantastic. And we have this comment from a speaker in the chat. Senator David, I know that you mentioned you were working on the transfer or the transitioning committee. If there is a form or if you do need any more assistance, please do let us know. And the speaker offered her help as well. Okay. Are there any other ad hoc committee reports?
Mr. Chairman, permission to speak?
Recognized.
There is an update diversity committee. So me and Aziza, we had a meeting with Gary. He talked to us about how we have to start preparing for the Cultural Week. Usually on campus, we have the World Fair. We're not on campus, so we have to do a digital campaign. So me and Aziza, we have been planning something. Gary suggested we do a virtual celebration, a social media campaign on Instagram, where we ask students to submit cultural dance, music, or fashion. Aziza, she created a Google form where they can submit the media they want to share. And so the location is going to be SGA Instagram. It's going to be a 2-day social media campaign. It's April 21st to 22nd. Regarding collaborations, we're looking for SGA support, IRC. Gary said IRC is going to promote it. Obviously, we're going to reach out to cultural clubs, ask for their member participation. And the part that me and Aziza need help with is that to encourage students to participate, we're thinking of including gift cards. Gary suggested it's kind of shallow to say
I'm sorry, I'm having a little bit of difficulty hearing you, Sandra.
Oh.
Still not hearing you. Okay, you're back.
I'm so sorry. We need help with gift cards. We're looking at $20 Amazon gift card. We just don't know if we're going to approach giving student gift through system of random selection, like you submit a media, we randomly select whoever selected it, or we give them a gift upon selecting, like, because you gave a submission to the campaign, you get like a Starbucks gift card for like one drink voucher or something. So would appreciate input on this. We'll definitely reach out to other members to see what input they have on how to encourage student participation and how to push gift giving. And I'll definitely reach out to Will to talk about how to manage gift card. And yeah, the poster is being made, and that's the update on this. And we're still working on this, and whatever update comes through, we'll let Harrison, Thanvi, and others know. And we're looking to have the post out on social media on April 1st. So it's going to give students about 20 days to, think about what they want to participate and to create the media they want to send. So that's the update.
Thank you very much, Senator. Yeah, that should be more than sufficient time. I think 20 days is plenty. That'll also give us enough time to make sure the gift cards or whatever that might be is all set up as well. So thank you very much. I'm really looking forward to that. And maybe we can have some members of the association, if they'd be willing to share. I think that would be really great as well. Yes, definitely reach out to cultural student organizations. Are there any other ad hoc committee reports? Are there any other ad hoc committee reports? Okay, hearing none, we'll now move on to Senate reports. Are there any university senators who would like to report?
Permission to speak.
Recognized.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Sarah Shoba, SASN Senator. I feel like I always have to say this when I'm talking about University Senate. Like, John Oliver has made me do this every single time on the university floor, so I'm just used to it. Anyways, it pains me to say this because I've been talking about this every single meeting for the past month, but we were unable to vote on the alumni engagement charge from the Student Affairs Committee because the meeting ran until 6, then we didn't have quorum, so we had to adjourn the meeting without voting on it. So hopefully we'll be able to do it in April. April will be the last meeting, and it will be the organizational meeting where the new university senators will be given an opportunity to sit and observe University Senate functions, but they won't be able to vote, and the 2020-2021 academic senators will be able to conduct their business as usual, and that would be their last meeting. So hopefully we'll be able to do it then. We also have been, like I said, the student health insurance plan. So we got the numbers that we needed. We spoke to Adam Day, who is the assistant treasurer. He came to our committee meeting and spoke on the issue and why Rutgers is not going with an integrated plan for part-time and full-time students. We're going to be discussing that a little bit more and looking into what actions our committee will be taking and what we can and can't do realistically, especially within the time frame that we have. Just to let you know, there are around 50 to 60,000 people, students who are enrolled in the full-time plan, but only 50 to 60 people are enrolled in the part-time health insurance plan. And the contract is for 5 years. We are currently around the 2.5 year of it. So the current carrier and contract is going to be around for 2 more years, and then it'll be renewed. And the carrier is United Healthcare. I don't know, I had to mention that. I think it's a fun fact, but we're looking into different carriers, and we're going to be comparing other companies as well. Yeah, so that's my report. If anyone has any questions, let me know.
Thank you very much, Senator. I'll definitely check back in with you about the student health insurance. I believe our president sent out an email inquiring to maybe Dr. Thomas or someone else from like health and wellness about that. Hopefully you were included in that conversation, but if you were not, we can definitely check back in with that. Are there any other university senator reports?
Permission to speak.
Recognized.
Hey everyone. Good afternoon, really. I was going to say good morning. So we were supposed to, in the last University Senate meeting, we were supposed to have the first reading of the student governance charge that we were tasked to do with with my committee. It was not read, so I'm kind of a little confused as to exactly if it's going to, because it's supposed to get its first reading on the past meeting and then voted on the April meeting. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work since we didn't get a chance to read that charge, but I will send out an email later today of the charge so that we can have an opportunity to kind of review the language. I think it's really important, given the fact that this is going to be something codified in the university policy, recognizing student governance, because it's actually not mentioned anywhere in university policy about any type of student governance. So I think it's important that we get it right, the language and stuff, and not anger our constituents in regards to the language of our charge. So I'm going to send out an email, like I said, later today, full language and stuff like that. And I think by the next meeting, if we can give an opportunity to give some critique and feedback so that we can have a strategy if we need to do any changes or amendments to submit those in a timely manner and make those changes to pass a charge that's good for all of us. And I rest my time.
Thank you very much, University Senator. Are there any other Senate reports? Are there any other Senate reports? Okay, if there are no further Senate reports, then we'll move on past old business, then to new business. So President has made another resolution. So I will put it in the chat and share my screen shortly. My apologies. Here we go. This is resolution 2021. E for executive, the number is yet undetermined. I believe it will be 11. This is sponsored by our Chief of Finance, as well as our Student Affairs Senator David and the Rutgers Newark Gaming Club. Let me just get the screen sharing set up. And of course, my apologies, Mira Desai as well. So I will be sharing my screen. Okay.
Sorry, can I have permission to speak real quick? I think this was a mistake.
Yes.
I never put my name.
Oh, you didn't, you were not co-sponsored? My apologies, I received the text.
Sorry about that.
No worries. So this is the resolution to invest in our future part 2. The first part of the text is not, it's actually copy pasted from the first resolution to invest in our future, since these circumstances have not changed. 77.5% of our budget does go towards student organizations during a normal year. Under the budgeting bylaws for section level 700 in our bylaws, I believe, we have an unprecedented amount of funds. We can invest in the future of student life. The Dean of Students and Office of Student Life and Leadership have advised us and encouraged us to do so. This was gathered from student input, and we have remaining $32,000 of general funds. All standard funds have been unused. This will be receiving the spring adjustment. I'm not sure if that date is current. And the rec room is overdue for a refresher. Unfortunately, all current pool cues, ping pong paddles, arcade, and game controllers are cracked, broken, or defective, reported by the Office of Reservation, I don't know the full acronym, and the Gaming Club. There are only 3 game options so far. our Chief of Finance did inform me this is current, the amount of $64,590.98. And this investment will promote active student life when students are actually back on campus in September, including students who do not participate in student organizations as well. So therefore be resolved that the Rutgers Newark SGA, thank you very much, Dean Pandit, reservations and special events, I forget the SC, request that $900 or 1% just about be allocated towards the goal of investing in these items with possible estimated amounts. This authorizes the Student Affairs Senators to edit this list and determine the appropriate vendors with the Executive Board and OSLL in a manner they see fit, as with Part 1. Asking ORSE what other items and OSLL to contribute financially if it exceeds $900. Urges for the completion of a final list created in 2 weeks' time following the passage. Requests of Chief of Finance to submit appropriate purchase requests, make reports, and urges working with ORSE to store and use this equipment. So this resolution to invest in our future, Part 2, has now been stated and put before the floor. Since the President did propose this, he has the opportunity to claim the floor first if he would like.
Thank you. So I just want to briefly speak on this. Honestly, this semester is coming to a close. We're not there yet. We have some time left, but we have tremendous opportunities to really expand this. We can make multiple parts. I need your help in kind of deciding what else we can do. I want to make tangible impacts on our campus so that when students do return, we made a difference, right? So I think there's a lot of room here, a lot of good things we could do. This money we're going to have over $60,000 left in the general fund currently, right? So this right here is just for $900. You can view the appendix. There's an appendix on it with the items listed out. It's less than $900. Honestly, right, we could really talk to reservations, student life, some other clubs, and see this could be doubled, tripled, and it still would not have a significant impact on our own budget too. So I think there's a lot here that we can do. Personally, I'm really focused on making these tangible impacts now. This money, greater than $60,000 will not be able to be touched by the next SGA, right? It will roll into the emergency fund as we had previously voted instead of allocations, because allocations was so bloated already. But the point stands, the next SGA won't have this opportunity likely to have this much money, because with the campus kind of going back in person, student clubs being able to do more, their funding will need to increase and the overall general fund will decrease. And they won't be able to touch any of this money. So really, I'm going to need your help kind of putting all this money to good use, some kind of tangible impacts we can make on campus. And I think this is a good start to really expand on the whole investing in our future concept. I was speaking to our Speaker of the Senate, Tanvi, this weekend, and she gave me a great idea that while I'm on campus this Wednesday for my senior portrait, I could tour around campus, look at in our office, look at the game room, look at the rest of the campus center, maybe academic buildings, the library, whatever else, and kind of assess, since none of us have really been on campus that much, like what else we could do for our campus tangibly. So that's all, and I hope you'll support this and help me expand this idea, this concept.
Mr. Chair, permission to speak?
Recognized.
All right. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is David Doughty. I am one of the Student Affairs Senators currently, and I speak in support of this resolution. I want to first give credit and thanks to our president, our chief of finance, as well as my co-senator, Mira Desai, for all of the work that's been put into both this resolution and our previous resolution, investing in our future, part 1. It's a great resolution. It's great work. It's something, as the president has already said, it's tangible, something that the students can see, something the students can actually enjoy and be a part of. When it came to part 1, those were items that all orgs can use whenever they have functions. For example, that would have been helpful last summer, and when Black Caucus hosted the rally on the quad. And so it's good that we have this now, so that way for future events and when organizations need things, SGA is there to help, as that is our job. And as far as it goes for this one, part 2, this is something that's more, I guess you could say, recreational when it comes to more students using this, as actually it is for the rec room. This is something that's very, very tangible. It's something that the students can enjoy, can appreciate. They can see that their SGA is doing something for them, in addition to the care packages, in addition to the investing in our future whenever somebody needs those equipments. And now, in addition to this, upgrading those rooms and spaces that they feel free to enjoy and engage in. So I do speak in support of this resolution, and I do hope that all of you vote yes. I, withdraw my time.
And permission to speak.
Permission. Oh, sorry.
Thank you very much, Senator. Unless someone calls me to order, I'd like to recognize the Chief of Finance briefly.
Thank you so much. I just want to begin real quick and clarify something that the president said earlier, and also apologize to Dylan, because by changing this amount, I did kind of blindside him on it. But I went ahead and I spoke with some of the program coordinators for ORSE to ask if they have any recommendations for things that we could add to this bill or change to this bill to better suit the needs as they see it in the game room. And I was given a couple of suggestions for like board games and things, but to accommodate that, just as nothing set in stone yet, down at the bottom, I did allocate just an additional $200 so that we would have an additional amount of wiggle room to be able to buy those things that were recommended to us by ORSE. And I would just like to note as well with that we are still seeking feedback from the student body, so that if anybody has any suggestions, we are still open to that. And we wanted to be able to leave a little bit of room in the budget as well to account for that, just given how much of a budget we actually have available to us for this resolution. And then the one other thing that I would like to add to this before conversations continue on it is that for today, I think this is a really great thing for us to talk about and begin the conversation on. But I would like to urge the Senate to lay this on the table for today to be voted on during the next meeting. As the gaming club has spoken to me, and they have let me know that they would really appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak on behalf of the bill, to present the students' perspective on this as well, and so that we can hear the students' perspective on what they think is really important.
Thank you, Chief of Finance. So just a clarification about the additional $200 suggested, and then the possibility of having the gaming club speak at the next meeting, if I'm hearing correctly. I know Senator Mira also wants to speak on this as well.
Yes, thank you. So I would like to speak in opposition to how the bill stands now. So the first part of this bill, part 1, had to do with spending our money that in a way that would, one, help the SGA in their future events, and then help all student orgs in their future events by buying items that they could rent out and use for their events. And I have absolutely no issue with investing money in our game room, but this does seem to really target one group and one group's interests, people who are more into gaming and things like that. And the game room on campus isn't really a large room where a lot of people spend their time. And I feel like if we are going to pass another resolution that has to do with investing in our future, we should table this bill as it stands now and add more to it before we pass it, because I feel like adding on more and more bills will slow down this process. And I think that we can have one very good inclusive bill that includes updates to, the Dreamers Lounge and other really important parts of our campus where we would have to, one, talk to student leaders and see, hey, what do you want? And not just one group of student leaders. And, really work with people to make sure that what we're investing in is things that they really do want and need, and we have a lot of support for. So I am, and Harrison, please correct me if I am doing this at the wrong time, but I'm motioning to table this bill so it can be improved upon.
Okay. Motion to table, basically motion to postpone this bill. Do you have a date you would like to postpone it to?
Well, for right now, I'm going to say indefinitely.
Okay.
Because I don't know how long this will take.
So I do want to clarify before I ask for a second on this motion. To postpone it indefinitely will basically kill this bill as it stands. It can be reintroduced as a different format, but it would require more substantial changes for that to be possible.
Okay. So then I think we should table this bill until the next meeting.
Okay.
On next Monday.
Okay, so there is a motion from Senator Desai to postpone this bill or this resolution, this potential resolution to invest in our future part 2 to next Monday. Do I hear a second?
Second that.
Okay, it has been seconded by Senator Castaneda. So now we will move to the voting procedures. So I'm just going to pause my screen share briefly while I pull that up. Let me see. Okay, so phone. Okay, so it can be a simple majority vote. You can reconsider it, and the time element is amendable. But first off, is there any further discussion on the postponing of this resolution?
Permission to be recognized.
Recognized, Senator.
Really quickly, I'm not in favor or in opposition to the postponement of the bill, but I just want it to be recognized that I think this could have been alleviated if we discussed this in caucus or if this was discussed, because I know there's a group of us that knew of this bill over the course of the last week where these discussions and provisions could have been made, and this could have been held off originally as a vote. And as you stated, I don't want the bill to be killed, because there are good things in this. And I do hear the reservations about it being a quote unquote targeted bill for a targeted group of individuals. But the rec room as it stands is open to the entire public and those who choose to go in and out, just as well as those who choose to use the equipment we bought with the first investment will choose that on their own. So I do believe this bill still stands good, whether it is as is. I'm not against putting student input, though. That is a great idea. I just wished and wanted to go on record that this could have been solved over the course of the last week or two when it came to caucus or any other individual meetings. So that's my view on the postponement. But
thank you, Senator David.
May I please be recognized?
Of course, Speaker.
Thank you so much. So I would just like to give some context. First and foremost, I would like to apologize for not holding caucus this Saturday. Unfortunately, when either Harrison or I cannot hold caucus cannot be held. So that's why I need to cancel caucus this Saturday. However, I would also like it to go on record that I was not informed of this legislation until Saturday night after I had canceled caucus. So the parties that were informed of this maybe should have let the speaker know that this legislation was to be coming forth before I canceled caucus so that we could have had a discussion. I did inform the senators as soon as I was informed of the legislation, and conversations could have been had in our group chat, or, we could have figured out another time to hold caucus. But unfortunately, I was not informed from anyone of holding caucus, needing to hold caucus, or any conversations that wanted to be had on this legislation. I rest my time back to Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Senator Shobit.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it's I thank the speaker for speaking on reasons why we didn't host caucus, but I think it would be inappropriate if we start, having to justify every single action that's being taken. These are unprecedented times, and it's so many things are going on in every person's lives, and I think that's just inappropriate. Too, I think, to add on to the speaker's point, if we had this bill introduced to the Senate or to be sent over to senators to facilitate some sort of dialogue or raise awareness or just have a conversation about it, I think that would have been good, but it doesn't do us any good talking about what could have been, because there's so many things that could have been, but we're living in Monday today, right now, and our actions for moving forward.
Thank you, Senator Schulpert. Before I recognize Senator Castaneda, I do want to add, I apologize for not sending out a wide email about this. That's on me. I've gotten into the bad habit of just putting things and hyperlinking them into the agenda. But please do let me know. Hopefully everyone is receiving my emails. I know they've become like sort of a Sunday afternoon sort of thing. But if you're not receiving that communication, please do let me know. Hopefully we can keep improving that in the future. I do want to add though, just per Robert's Rules of Order, I also ask that the debate be limited to whether or not to postpone this bill to next week's meeting. Senator Castaneda.
I'm actually going to retract myself from the line.
Okay. All right. Senator Desai.
Hi. So upon hearing all of the debate, and with the knowledge that the Gaming Club does want to also table this vote, I would like to retract my previous notion and just table this indefinitely, since I feel that this bill needs much more work that won't be able to be done in 1 week.
Okay. So just to clarify, in order for you to retract the motion, since we've been debating it already, that will require a vote. Let me see. So to retract it, it would be, I believe it's preventing from acting. So it would be one vote to retract it, and then you would need to propose the motion again. Alternatively, you could vote against tabling it indefinitely and then just propose the motion. So it might be simpler to just let this run to a vote. It's up to you though, Senator.
Point of information.
Yes.
Are we able to ask for unanimous consent here?
Yes, I think so, but I'm a little bit inclined against it, since there does seem to be some debate. I would prefer to do majority, just because there has been some debate in either direction for this. It is allowed though. I do want to add, at least for in the business of making motions and proposing resolutions, from my personal perspective, I think it might take longer to rewrite it to try and be more inclusive, rather than just to pass this. Right? Because this is a resolution, this is non-binding. This is just simply ideas of what we might do. And then to work the details out via the student affairs senators and whatever working group is working on this. And if other student groups feel as though they have things that they would like us to spend money on, they can reach out and we can pass further resolutions, because this is, again, just 1% of our funding. However, I have no sway whatsoever. It's ultimately up to all of you guys what you would like to do. But if we are considering the interest of time, I would recommend passing this first and passing further bills to supplement this.
Motion to speak, or unless, I have people's hands up actually, so I don't know.
So right now, I think I'm still not sure whether or not Senator Desai would like to amend her motion to make it postponed indefinitely instead of postponed just till next week. That would require a 2/3 vote in order to happen, though. I would suggest, if you would like to postpone it indefinitely, Senator Mira, just to vote against postponing it till next week and then proposing the motion anew.
That's fine.
Okay, so you're not motioning to amend.
No.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Senator Robert. Yes, I just want to make sure, we're going about this as efficiently as we can. Our Chief of Finance has his hand raised. Someone may call me to order, but given that he is sponsoring this bill, I would like to recognize him.
Hi, everyone. So I did just want to reiterate specific that the gaming club would like to have the ability to speak on it. To postpone it until next meeting would be preferable. I do just want to offer the insight that I personally believe killing the bill, which would require much more drastic changes to it, would just require a lot more bureaucratic process and would make the entire process a lot more inefficient. Whereas what I think would be more realistic for us to be able to do in the essence of time would be to, as Harrison said previously, to publish this bill as a, not necessarily as it stands, but after we receive the full feedback and we hear from the gaming club. And for other events, like for instance, the Dreamers Lounge was mentioned, I believe that that would be an excellent project for our diversity senators to begin working with those interest groups to figure out what they might like and to draft a resolution for it. Again, this is entirely non-binding as to what specifically we're buying. It's only binding for the amount that we're allocating to the budget for this purpose. So to the respect of it just increasing time by having multiple bills, it doesn't make that much of a difference in terms of the buying perspective. If anything, it might actually allow for this to go a little bit faster by allowing us to begin processing those purchase orders in advance while we're still waiting for all the other items to be decided upon.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I understand some discussion is happening in the chat. I know it's, sometimes a little bit difficult to go through these bureaucratic processes. I know I'm maybe one of the only fans of them because I just like systems. But I do ask if senators would like to speak, that they ask for the floor. So that way it can be, before the whole entire Senate and student body. Senator David.
Thank you. As the president has stated, there is still a little less than $60,000 in the fund. I believe passing this bill does zero harm. If anything, it's still helping. It doesn't hurt anybody. As Senator Robert has mentioned in the chat also, it is not just Gaming Club that uses that room. There have been a plethora of different and various individuals who go in and out of that room that use that room, whether it's a space to relax, whether it's a space to play games, whether it's a space to hang out. And I'm pretty sure they would like it, not with broken items in it, not with damaged items in it. And as for, like I said, the president said there's still less than $60K left. There can be, as the chief of staff has mentioned, and the president, there can be an additional bill to add anything and purchase anything else with more student input. Let me say that, with more student input, to purchase whatever items it is that we would like to add. That is still a possibility. That's not nothing that is not like it just can't happen. It's not like we're an inactive Senate, but this is something I think we should pass, because the longer we wait, then the longer the process is going to take for the stuff to get here. And by the time it gets here, then whose control is it going to be in to make sure the stuff gets by and it goes on? So I do believe we need to pass this. It should be going on now. And then whatever additions need to be made, I'll completely support that. And we can make the additions with an additional bill to add whatever else needs to be added. But for now, I understand the stipulations with this bill, but as I stated, with part one, it was designated to the 2 student affairs senators, and we have both worked on part one and we're in communication about part 2 in that chat, and we're both notified of it. And the work has been done. The chief of finance has put in hard work with this. Our president has put in hard work with this, and senators have put in hard work with this. And so have I don't want to say out of service, but so have other students. So I do believe that this bill should be passed, and there should just be an additional bill with whatever other provisions that need to be added. And then we can discuss that in the coming caucus meeting. I rest my time.
Thank you very much.
May I be recognized?
I do want to just remind all the senators that the current motion before the floor is the motion to postpone this resolution until next week's general body meeting. The speaker.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to highlight the exact point that you made. I think this is not like killing the bill as what was referred to. I just want to give some more context. By tabling the bill to be put up for next week, that just means that Gaming Club will have efficient time to come to our meeting and speak on behalf of the bill, since they are sponsoring this and they were in communications with the president on why they wanted all of these items. So I think that it would be great to hear them out and to have them speak. And also, seeing as there is a lot of discussion on this bill, I think that giving time to, one, I will make sure that we hold caucus, and two, on Monday's meeting, whatever leftover discussion there is, we can still have it. And seeing at the fact that it's already 12:52, we are over our meeting time. So it seems as if the only, I just want to explain that by tabling the bill to be put up for next week does not mean that anyone is voting against this bill. We are simply voting to allot time to discuss this bill further. I rest my time to Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Speaker. In the interest of time, unless someone would like to call me in order, I'm just going to move to a simple majority vote regarding the motion to postpone this to next meeting. All those in favor of postponing this resolution to next meeting, say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Okay. All those against, say nay. Okay. Well, hopefully every senator who would like to vote got the chance to unmute and speak. But it sounds like the ayes have it, and this will be postponed and carried on with old business at the following General Body Association meeting, which will occur on April the 5th. We're in a new month. Do want to clarify, Part 2 authorizes Student Affairs Senators to edit this list. Hopefully, our Chief of Finance or the Student Affairs Senators can get in contact with Gaming Club to ensure that they will be present at our next meeting. But that being said, we have no other new business. If there is anyone who would like to comment for the association or the public, feel free to stay behind. I'll be staying a couple more minutes. But otherwise, I'd like to hear a motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn.
All right. Thank you very much, senators. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Good luck in class. And we'll continue this next week. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
You too.